children. This is the second part of the picture that we started last week. Remember, you drew the huts and the river and the mountain. Well, today we're going to colour it in. Or you're going to shade it. If you're at home and you don't have colouring pencils, just use your pencil that you sketched with. You press lighter if you want it to be a lighter grey, and press harder if you want it to be a darker grey. So I'm going to open up my pencil box now. You can get your coloured pencils out. And today the colours that you will need will be a dark green, a light green. We will need a brown if you've got a brown in your pencil case. We will need a blue for the river. If you've got a dark blue and a light blue, that would be good. So we could do the sky a lighter blue and the river a darker blue. And I think that's all we need for today's picture. Let's add a bit of yellow as well, because it's good to put in a bit of yellow in the grass. So if you've got a yellow or a goldy colour, that would be good. So I think those are the colours that we need. So yellow, greens, browns and blues. So let's push them to one side and let's make a start. Okay, as usual, as if we were painting it with watercolour paint, what we'll do is we'll do the sky first. We'll start at the top and then we'll work our way down. Because if I was to start down here and then work my way up, I'd be putting my hand all onto my work that I'd be doing, and not only would I get dirty hands, I'd probably smudge all of my work that I'd already done. So let's start at the top and work down. So if you have got two lots of blues, I've got two lots of blues. If you have, use your lighter blue this time and your darker blue for the river next time. But if not, just press nice and light and let's get started. So we'll start at the top. Can you see what direction I'm doing this in? I'm colouring this in left to right. I'm not going up and down. I'm not going round and round. I'm doing a left to right motion. So, colouring it in. Now remember those clouds? Let's not go over the clouds. Let's make sure that we go around those clouds. But I'm still doing that left to right. Look, I'm still moving left to right, across. Okay, so I'm wiggling that pencil in that direction. And then it makes it look like the sky is actually even. It's not, there's not any storms or anything like that. Because if I was to wiggle in a circular motion or up and down, it might look like it's raining, and I don't want it to look like it's raining. I want it to look like that it's a nice day. So I'm still going that left to right motion with my pencil all the way down to the horizon line, no further. And when I get by the mountain, if you look, I'm still going left to right, but I'm just making sure that I try not to go over that line. So I still do that left to right. Look, there we go. Very carefully. I might just go up the side, look, going upwards, just on the edge of that mountain, but nowhere else. But mainly that left to right. So I've left my clouds. I've got to remember this little one here, look. So if I do that left to right motion there, and go around it, just using still that left to right. So I've got my sky in. I'm turning my pencil as I go. So I'm wearing it down evenly. And look, if I was to just leave a little gap like that, look, I didn't really need to draw out the clouds really, because if you look here, I've got a cloud there and I've not done anything. All I've done is I've wiggled left to right, but I've gone round and I've got a cloud. Do you know what? We're going to leave that cloud there, because that shows us later on when we look at the picture at a later date that we don't really need to draw clouds in, because the clouds can be made by leaving the white of the paper and not filling it all in. Now, I think my sky's done. So if you have a look at yours, make sure that you've filled in all the gaps apart from that cloud. Make sure you keep that cloud. So you fill in all the gaps. And I think I'm about done. And can you see that the sky, if you look at yours, when you've done yours, at the sky is that left to right. It's got that left to right look about it. It's not coming up and down, so it doesn't look like it's raining. It's a sky. So that's nice. Right, so next, so we're still working top to bottom. So what's next would be the mountains, wouldn't they? So the mountains, they're not just green. You'd find in the mountains, you'd find a bit of yellow, a bit of brown, a bit of blue in places as well. But remember when we drew the mountain, we'd do it in, remember that line that we did? We went up and then we come down. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put some lines that coming down in the same direction as that line that we drew. So if I put some lines in that direction with the yellow first, I've got a yellow pencil, a goldy yellow colour. So if I just put a few, because I don't want too much yellow in, and I'll do it to this one as well. So let's just put a few lines of yellow in on there. Now, I'm going to take my brown pencil now. With that brown pencil, look, I'm going to put a few lines, some over the top of the yellow, but in between as well. So look, in between the yellow lines there, I'll put a bit of brown. And it'll look like that there's cracks or there's areas of rock on the mountain, so that's why we put lots of different colours in. So I'm putting some brown lines going in that same direction that we drew that line for the mountain. Following that line, I'm looking at the line, seeing in that direction, and I'm colouring it in that direction. Okay, now, when we're colouring things in, when things are far away, they have a bit of a bluey look to them because they're far away and it could be covered in mist. So over on this mountain that we want it to look like it's far away, I'm just going to put a bit of blue, very lightly, a bit of blue just in the distance of that mountain there, in the same direction as that mountain line goes. I'm putting just a bit of blue, maybe down the bottom a bit as well. I might just put a tad of blue, tiny bit of blue, just on that one as well, just on there, on the very edge, and just in a bit there. But again, it's in that same direction that I drew that line in for the mountain. I'm following those directions. Okay, so let's go to our green now. So I've got my green pencil, and again, I'm going to follow those lines. And I'm putting it in strokes. I'm stroking this pencil across the paper. Stroking it. Okay. And let's follow that line along the top. There's that line. Let's follow that line. Okay. Now, let's do it a bit more over here. And I'm pressing quite light on this one because I want it to look like it's further away and things aren't as strong in colour when they're further away. I'll just draw a line across the bottom, but then I'll stay with that angle, that same angle that we drew that mountain with. There we go. There's that distant one. Now this one's a bit closer, isn't it? So this time I'll press a little bit harder and I'll go over a bit of the blue. Just a little bit, and I'll go up that side where I drew that line, and then let's start at the top again. And again, I'm thinking about that direction. So let's colour this in, but think about that direction still, so we don't forget about that. I don't go over my yellow. I don't want to lose my yellow. So let's come across the bottom. I can draw a line across the bottom, just like that. But then let's again go in with these diagonal lines. Going around the yellow and around the brown lines. I don't want to lose all them. But I'm thinking about doing it in that angle. Remember that angle? doing it in that angle. Okay, I might come up the side here, look, just like that, follow that line that we did. And then I'm remembering that angle again. Once I've done that line, that's the only line that I'm going to do like that. Remember, I've got to stick with that angle again. Might go over a bit of the brown with the green, so we get another different colour in there as well. Okay, so we've got that lovely other mountaining. And again, I'm pressing quite hard on this one, not too hard. You don't want to keep having to sharpen your pencil all the time if you're pressing too hard. But it's harder than that one. So if we look now, that one is darker than that one. So that one, because it's lighter, because I didn't press as hard, looks like it's further away. So that's going okay. So let's work our way down some more. Let's think about doing this grass area. Now grass is green, but we're going to put a bit of yellow over it first because we want it a bit of a nice summery green. We don't want it just one flat colour, because nothing is one flat colour. It's all made up of 2 or 3 colours. When you look at it very closely, it's all made up of 2 or 3 colours. So again, I'm doing it like the sky. Look, I'm going left to right. Got to be careful of where my river is. Don't go over your line of the river. Keep that line going left to right. And then I'll do this side of the river. Keep going left to right again. I'm holding my paper so it doesn't move. Alright, so I've got that yellow in. Alright, okay. So I'll go around the huts. So I can't go over the huts. But I'm still doing that left to right. I'm not coming up and down. I'm not going round and round. I'm still doing that left to right. So it's all about left to right on this grass. So let's cover this. I've got to be careful of the tree as well. So that left to right, go around the huts. I can just drawing around the huts. There's my tree. I can't go over the tree. I'll go a bit behind the tree, I think, though, because it's bare branches, so we will see what's behind it. Okay, and I think that's done for the yellow. Now I'm going to get my green again, like we used in the mountain. And again, I'll come left to right. And I'll go over that yellow. And let's go over this yellow with the green. Doing left to right only. And going around that little hut. Can't forget about that little hut. Now, I'm not pressing too hard when I do this, because I'm going to get it a bit darker towards the front where I'm coming in now. So that's where I might press a bit harder in a minute, but I'm just pressing medium. It's not too light, not like quite like there, but not too hard either. So a medium press with that pencil. So let's do it over here. I'm still remembering that left to right, because when you're going around something that you don't want to draw over or colour over, you kind of think, oh, okay, let's go round, let's follow it round, but I want it to look flat. I want the grass to look nice and flat. So I've got to try and remember to keep that. I'll just do a little line up here where I won't be going left to right, but I'm just following that, the side of that river there. But then I'm still coming in again over it, left to right, because we still want to keep that left to right going. Okay. Now, do you remember when we did that mountain, that one there? We said that when things are in the distance, that they've got a bit of a blue colour to them because they are far away. So I've got my blue pencil now, and with the blue pencil, I'm just going to go over the top part of this grass over here in a bit of a blue. So that gives it a bit of distance looking, because it's blue. Blues in the distance and more warmer colours, because it's a cool colour. More warmer colours will be in the foreground. I've put a bit of blue there. Let's go back to that green again, but this time about halfway between the line and the bottom of the paper, so about here onwards, I'm going to press a bit harder, look. So it's darker here, which makes it give that bit of a distance look. Because things in the distance, like I said, aren't as dark, they're paler. They've got less colour to them because they're far away. But I'm still sticking with that left to right look. Going around the bottom, because remember that was curved. But I'm still doing that left to right. And then I'll slowly lift my pencil up. So let's make sure that it's all the same here. Let's go right up to that hut. Go around the tree. But I'm pressing quite hard now. So here's darker and there's lighter. So let's come across. So it'll be about the same here. So I'm looking where that line is. And it'll be about here where it starts. And I'm going left to right with that pencil over here. I'm pressing quite hard this time. And there we go. Now. So now we can see that it's darker in the foreground here and lighter in the distance. So that makes it look like to our eye that this is nearer and that's further away. We've got a tree up here. Let's do that. So back with that brown colour again. I'm going to draw in the trunk. While I've got that brown colour, I may as well draw in the trunk here, colour in the trunk here as well. So I'm pressing quite hard because this is in the foreground. So I'm pressing quite hard, and then I'm pressing hard to put these branches on. Because remember how we took our time and we drew these lovely branches in. So let's go over the branches that we created earlier on. And I went out for a walk today and I was looking at some of the trees and some of the branches on the trees. And there's a lot of branches. You don't realise how many branches there are on the tree until you actually look. There's a lot of branches on trees. There's more than what you'd think. So I'm just putting in a few extra with my pencil now. I've got this brown pencil. I'll just put a few extra in. There we go. You can do this if you want, or you can just go over what you've already done and leave it there. Now, what else is brown? We've got a fence here, haven't we? So I'm pressing quite hard so my brown pencil goes through the green that I've already done. And I'm pressing quite hard to get those posts in. Remember them posts that they are further away in distance there, but then they get closer together as the fence goes up and up and up. And they get smaller as well to give us a bit of distance. Right, well, I've still got that brown. I think what I'll do is I'll think about the huts now. Let's do the huts. The huts need to be done. So the settlers' huts would be this brown colour. So because this little one is far away, I'm not pressing too hard, pressing quite lightly there. This one I'll press a bit harder, but look what I'm doing. I'm putting these lines in for the roof in the direction that the roof would be made. I'm putting that line there and it comes round that side and it comes round that side, just like these lines. And then I'll put this brown in here, pressing again, about medium press, not too hard, but not really lightly either, a medium press. Now let's do this one. This is in the foreground. So let's follow those lines, look, that I did on the roof. Let's press quite hard with those lines. Now when I've done those lines, I can then colour it in between, and that'll give us a nice pattern to the top, because they would have lines that came down made of sticks or wood. So that makes that look how it would look in real life. So then, because this is nearer, I'm going to colour this in, but look, I'm colouring it in up and down this time, not left and right, up and down. But I'm pressing quite hard because this is closer to us. And I'll go over the door. Let's work around there. Go where the bottom is there. So I'm doing this up and down motion with my pencil. I'm pressing quite hard. Alright. Let's go over that door. We forgot about that door there. Let's very lightly go over the window. Very lightly. So there is a bit of a difference, look. We've got it hard there. And nice and dark. And it's a bit lighter there. Tell you what we can do. With that blue that we used earlier on. Let's put a bit of blue lines in as well. Just over the top of that brown. To make it a bit darker. We can put on in there as well. Just on this part. And a very pale blue over the top of this one there. So it's not just a flat brown colour, because remember earlier on I said that things aren't just one colour, everything's made of 2 or 3 colours. So I'm happy with that. Now we've got this tree in the distance, remember we've done the trunk, but we haven't done the leaves. So I'll get my brown pencil and I'll get my green pencil, sorry, it's in the distance. So let's do it nice and light, not too heavy. Don't press too heavy. And then I'll get that blue again. And I'll just put a bit of blue in because it's in the distance. So it'll have a bit of a blue colour to it because it's in the distance. Okay. The river. Now this is where if you've got 2 colours of blue. I've got that colour of blue and I've got that colour of blue. So one's light and one's dark. If you've got 2 colours of blue pencil, you can firstly go over with your light pencil, the light blue, and remember keeping it to that left to right. Think about the sky. So I'm keeping it to that left to right as I'm coming up and up and up in the river. Left to right. Keep it straight. Look at the horizon line if you need to remind yourself of which direction to colour it in. So I'm doing that and I'm still doing that left to right. Now I've come down to the bottom. Now, just like how we did it with the grass. We started off light and then it got darker, didn't it? We're going to do the same with the river. So I'm going to take my slightly darker blue pencil and I'll just put some darker lines in here. If you haven't got 2 colours of blue pencil, don't worry. This is what you've got to do. You can colour that in very lightly, but then press harder towards the bottom. Look, I'm putting some lines in across, just some few lines with the same colour pencil. And can you see, you still get the same effect. So don't worry if you haven't got a darker blue. Just do it nice and light to begin with, and just down the bottom put a few dark blue, or press harder with that blue pencil to make a few dark blue lines. Let's just put a few little waves in as well. Now the waves would come across, so let's just put a few little waves in here, not too far up because that's in the distance. We don't want to, you wouldn't see waves or ripples in the water if it's too far away. So I'm just putting in a few ripples. Now my pencil needs sharpening, so let's just use this dark one just to put in a few lines that come across so you can see those dark blue lines. Pressing quite hard because this is in the foreground. So when it's in the foreground with pencil, you press a bit harder so it comes out darker. But it's still just a few lines that are coming across. Just a few little dashes, look. Now let's take a few just a bit further up. I think that's enough. Okay, make sure I've gone right to the edge with that water. I'm going to go right to the edge of my pencil line, but still making sure that it's going across and I'm not going up and down or round and round. There we go. Right, I think that we should put some shadows in. Let's imagine that the sun is coming this way. So let's get some shadows in. Now, the shadows, we're going to use that blue colour, the blue pencil again. Now, I'm imagining that the sun's coming down. So this would have the shadow coming down in a diagonal shape. Look, diagonal line. Just a little one. This tree would have a little diagonal line coming down, look. This hut would have the same. Make sure they all go in the same direction. There's only one sun, so make sure they all come in the same direction. I'm going diagonally that way, look. So there we get a bit of a shadow there, a bit of a shadow there. And this big hut here, because it's nearer to us, would have a bigger shadow. It starts from the bottom of the hut, and then it comes out just in a line that comes out like that. And a tree would have a shadow, so let's put a shadow on the tree on the bottom. So touch the bottom of the tree and just bring a blue line out. So there's our picture. I think that over here we've got a bit of a gap, haven't we? So let's get our green pencil and let's just put a few little wiggly lines in just above the horizon line, not too far up because we don't want it to look too high. And if we colour that in, that'll look like there's some very, very distant trees or a very, very low hill, because we've got big mountains there. So this could be a low hill, but just wiggle on the top, just above the line, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle with that pencil, and then draw your line across to fill it in. And I'm happy with that now. So I want you to do it along with me, or if you want to watch all the way and then copy what I've done, that'd be good. So this is all we've done. This is our settlers picture finish for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're all staying safe, keeping well, and I'll see you again soon. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.